Okay, in this video, we are going to review solving rational inequalities, and we're also going to practice a few domain questions. So for solving rational inequalities, you will need your calculators, and I recommend using a graphing calculator, but you can use a scientific calculator as well. And so the first thing we want to do is we want to figure out where this rational function is less than 0. And so remember, less than 0 means negative. So we're going to be looking for negative values. And in order to do this, we're going to use a number line. And we're going to take the numerator. And we're going to set it equal to 0. Now, the numerator value will either get an open or a closed circle, and that depends on this symbol. Since it's just less than, there will be an open circle. If it were just less than or equal to, there would be a closed circle. Same with greater than or equal to. So 3x minus 9 equals 0, and we're going to solve for x. So x equals 3. We're also going to find where the denominator equals 0. And the denominator can never be 0, so that will always get an open circle. So x plus 4 equals 0, x equals negative 4. Now we're going to draw a number line. Negative 4 and 3 will go on. Open circles on both. And at this point, we want to test some values. Less than negative 4, in between negative 4 and 3, and then greater than 3. And you can use your graphing calculator to do that, or you can use your regular calculator. If you have a graphing calculator, you want to go to y equals, clear out whatever you have in there, and type in this equation, parentheses around your numerator, parentheses around your denominator. Then you're going to hit second graph, and that's going to bring you to the table. And if you have any values in there, just hit delete. Now we want to pick a number that's less than negative 4, let's say negative 10, hit enter, and we want to see if this number is positive or negative, so that's positive. So numbers less than negative 4 will give us positive values. Now we want to pick a number in between negative 4 and 3, say 0, that's negative. And then we want to pick a number greater than 3, say 15, that's positive. If you don't have a graphing calculator and you have a scientific calculator, you can plug those values in for x. You just have to be really careful with parentheses. So if we picked negative 10, 3 times negative 10 minus 9 divided by negative 10 plus 4. And that's positive. And you can go through and test values in between all the intervals. Okay, so once you have the signs here, you go back, and if you remember, we're trying to look where this graph is less than 0, so we want the negative pieces. So we don't want this piece, and we don't want this piece, we just want this piece right here. And then we just want to write our answer in interval notation. Parenthesis, because of the open circle, negative 4, comma 3, parenthesis. And that's our answer. Okay, now for domain. We have two different types of functions. We have rational functions, which are fraction functions, and then we have a radical function, which is a square root function. So remember, in a fraction, the denominator cannot equal 0. So that is exactly how we find the domain. We say x minus 2 can't equal 0. Solve for x, x can't equal 2. Now on a number line, that would look like this. As an interval, it would be negative infinity to 2, union 2 to infinity with parentheses on everything. So in part B, we have another rational function, so we know that we can't have 0 in the denominator. So to find the domain, we want to find the x values that would make the denominator 0. We're going to factor this. X minus 4, x minus 1. So there's 2 x values that will make this function 0. And that's 4 and 1. On a number line, that would look like this. And so in interval notation, negative infinity to 1, union 1 to 4, union 4 to infinity. Now for a square root, remember that you cannot take the square root of a negative number. You can take the square root of 0. So whatever is under here has to be greater than or equal to 0. And that's how you find the domain. You say x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 0. So x has to be greater than or equal to 4. You can't plug in anything less than 4. On a number line, that would look like this. And in interval notation, we would have bracket 4 to infinity.